we have the Android Studio installed. Android Studio, I can say that disadvantage, it's slow a little bit. It's not fast like Eclipse because you have many packages are all linked together to help you to develop the app. So as you can see, I have a big list of apps here that I work on. Now, I can start a new Android Studio. It will ask me what is the application names. So I can say 01, because I have, as you can see here, you can make specifications for the company domains, which is the package file. So on this company domain, as you can see on the screen, is the screen visible for everyone? So maybe you can come to the beginning if you have problem. You have EECS1022.yorku.ca. So EECS1022, this is represent a folders inside my hard disk. Inside this folder, I have another folder which is called YorkU. Inside this folder, there is another folder called CA, and this will be in reverse. And in such a way, I organize my work. Now, for example, for you, you might say, I will organize per semesters. So this is a winter 20, then period, I have ECS 1022. Now, I don't need .worku or .ca. So how you organize your work, you specify it on the company domains. Here is where's the location on my hard disk, and these are how you support. You need C++ support, you need Kotlin support. This is recently. We don't need anything. We're gonna do it standard with Java. Next, here this is a very important step. When you develop the app, sometimes you develop the app for a specific Android operating system, or what they call it Android APIs. As you can see, even the Android Studio here, it's saying it's recommended to develop an app that match ice cream sandwich, which is the Android Studio 4 operating system 4.0.3. And if you develop an app using API 15, will be able to run it on the later operating systems. Okay? So it's give us the recommendation. We're not running for a TV or anything else. So we just keep things same here. Next. Now it's the time to pick up what kind of template we're going to work with. So in the most of labs, we're going to have an empty activity. But there's some Android Studio project, we're going to use no activity. Right now, we're going to use an empty activity. Next. It gives us the choice to name out what is the activity name, what is the layout name. If you install Android Studio with the latest version, you will not have this choice. It's always gonna be main activity and activity underscore main. In this, I installed the previous version of Android Studio. So the same version that is used by York Labs. So this version is 3.1.4, the one that I am using it in my machine. I'm not using VirtualBox, I'm just installing the old version. Okay? Then I can say, I will leave it main activity, I'm not going to change it. Here we can, in the text box, it's telling you, you change it. If you follow the steps on the text box, you have to change it, I think, to empty activity, then you have to put it 0 activity. You have to change this from main activity to zero activity. Okay? And as you can see, once I change it to zero activity, the activity underscore zero is changed the same thing. And then I can click finish. Now as you can see, the Android Studio start building our app. Now let me go back to the while it's finished. So in these slides, I will post it. It will contain actually steps how you create the apps, similar to what I did just now in the laptops. I just take a screenshot and save it for you for a reference and also for me as a backup in case of this is not working. This all here for you. Now we will see how we're gonna integrate the I2C.jar in our project. In all the labs that you need to develop during this course, you need to link this jar files with your apps. How I'm gonna do this? There is a steps on these slides to show you exactly how you're gonna do this. Even sometimes on the lab test, when you have the lab test and you start opening Android Studio to do some programming, to answer the questions, you need to do these steps. So you need to master how to link the package. So let me go back to the laptop. Okay. So this is the screen on the laptop once I finish. As you can see here, try to double click. As you can see, we have the package name, which is exactly where the things are stored in the reverse order. CA, we have the folder called CA. Inside it, there is another folder, your Q. Inside it, there is EECS1022. And inside it, we have a 01 apps, which is exactly. This is the package where every class we create inside this app will be stored in. So if you go to the did I put a shortcut here? No, no shortcut. Okay. Yes, yeah. So these are Android Studio apps. All of them will be here. This is the 01 app we create. This is actually the structures of the files. All these files are created by Android Studio Automatic for us. Now inside the app, you will see there is a source. Inside it, there is a main, and there is a Java folder. Inside there is a Java folder. We have the packages. We have CA folders, your queue, then EECS1022. Then inside this, we have 01 package. Inside it, there is a class called zero activity. What is inside this zero activity if you open it? This is the code inside this Java file. The same code, you will have it here inside Java. So this is the code. This is the public class extended from app compact activity. Okay, there's no inheritance on this course, but this is the default apps class created for us, allow us to run the app. If you look at back here, you will see that this is the view. Initial app contains hello world text view. You can right now simply run the app. If I ask to run the app, it will give me all the virtual machine that I install in my Android Studio. If I have some connected real Android device, it will also appear here, and I can use this real Android device to develop or deploy my app. So right now I'm using a virtual one. I can press OK, and it will take time to prepare the app for running. So this is a virtual Android app, and inside it you will see now we will have the hello world. It's just simply the default app. Now, depend on your machine. If your machine is fast, maybe this process will not take too much time. Okay. Now, if you run the virtual Android device once, don't close it, keep it running and continue developing the app. Once you finish, you also run. So all this process of preparing the virtual device is already done for you. You don't need to do it every time. Still processing. Now, as you can see here in the buttons, the Gradle building and running process, you can expand it even and see what is there on the building process. Now, if you install the old version of Android Studio, every time will give you an option to update. So do not update if you install the old version. And also even on the labs, okay, you will see that whenever you open the Android Studio in the lab, it will give you a notification you have to update the app. Now it's installing the Android package. As you can see on the button, to give you steps. Installing the Android package on the virtual device to be able to run it. And this is just simply a default app. It's very slow process, and you can see here it's starting on the machine, and you can see here the hello. I will keep this running. I'm not going to close it because I'm going to use it later on. Now I will go back to link the library to this. I don't know where I stored the library. Now I have to see. I can go again to the Rahmani website, maybe. This is the text box. This is the textbook website. You have the package here. You download the package. You copy the package. From here, you go to the libraries. You can see here, you go to the 0 apps, then inside it there is a folder called libraries. You put the package inside this. Now the next steps is to go to Android Studio, to go to the, you can see in the Android Studio, you have Android as a project to preview here. You have the Android preview, you have the project preview. In the project preview, you will see here the folder structures on your hard disk. Inside it, you will see the libraries. Now, you go to the file, go to the settings, oops. Go to the project structures, then go back here from the file, select project structures, then you have the apps, go to dependency. Inside the dependency, you click plus sign, jar dependency, and then you go to the library, you find the i2c.jar file, you click OK. This file now is linked to your projects. All these steps that I just did is actually on the slide. So if you go home, you can see step by step how you link i2c.jar to your projects. And this i2c.jar contains many APIs and some ready-made methods. You will be using these methods for the labs 1, 2, 3, up to lab number 5. Now, this is the website. We download the jar, then we copy the jar inside file structures in the apps, dependency, plus, and you link the jar to your projects. All these steps are inside the jar. Now, let us look at the project structures for any Android apps. What is actually these files on the left side that we see once we develop an app? You will have what we call Android manifest.xml. Inside this file, there is a description for all the component of Android apps. It's ready by the Android at runtime system, and we read it at runtime to execute. So we're not going to go to Android manifest.xml and modify it in any of the labs. But it's good to know that inside the Android manifest, it will find all the description about the component of your apps. And once you run the app, at runtime, the Android Studio will go and read this manifest for you. Now, this is where it's most of the work will be done, inside the Java folders. Inside the Java folder, which is inside the source /Java, so it's inside another folder, but once you have the Android view on the top here, Android view, you will have the Java. As you can see, there is a 3 subfolders. There is a Java, which is the com.example.ecs1022, and then .0, which is the folder where all the classes you develop will be stored. There is Android test, and there is a test directories. In this course, we're going to work with the test directory, and also we're going to work with the Java directory. Android test, we're not going to work with it. It's for advanced if you want to make a test scenario for your app. Now, Inside also the file structures, you will have the resources directory. Most of the file inside the resources directory are .xml files. And as you can see, we have a drawable directories. And you're going to use these drawable in the first apps to store images. So if you app going to use some images, the link for this will be inside drawables directories. And we have a layout directories. A layout directory inside it, as you can see, we have activity underscore 0.xml file. This layout file will be responsible about describing the user interface items that you add to the app. So if you add buttons, you have text field, you have edit text field, you have a display text, you have a scroll bar or whatever is you adding to your app as a user interface items, it will be stored inside the layout.xml. And inside the layout XML, you will find the XML code